There's something going on right now in the United States, particularly with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, flirting with the idea of a potential on-ground invasion of Iran, and more particularly, not ruling out the possibility of a draft.
I get your take about this idea of troops on the ground. Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now.
It has been, and it will continue to be. And President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. I know a lot of politicians like to do that quickly, but the president, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table.
And recently there's been some headlines that I've been seeing regarding an automatic registration into the Selective Services for anybody who is 18 and 25 years old. Some people are misconstruing this headline as an automatic registration into the draft, and that's not entirely true. I want to make a small correction on that. It's an automatic registration into the Selective Services, meaning before, when you turned 18, you had 30 days to sign up manually into the draft. Now, the government is using your social security number. They're using that to get you registered for the Secret Services. But even regarding all that, there is something I want to tell you, and I want to make this crystal clear. If there happens to be a draft and you are selected, dodge it. I have two main reasons why you should dodge the draft. One is because the person that would be drafting you has himself also dodged the draft. Donald Trump has dodged the draft 5 times.
Trump's reaction spurring more anger and scrutiny of his own military record.
I was fortunate to really not have to go through. This was during the Vietnam period, and we were in a very, very highly contested and unpopular war.
Which means, principally speaking, even though he is your leader, he is sending you to go do something that he himself would not do.
June 1964, Trump registered for the draft after he graduated from the New York Military Academy. He received 4 education deferments while he was at Fordham and Wharton. Then, September 1968, Trump, starting his real estate career, got a medical deferment because of a bone spur in his foot.
I had deferments because of college, like a lot of people did. Numerous deferments because of college, and I had a foot thing, and I had deferment for that.
Despite the fact Trump had been active in various sports, including basketball and baseball.
There's a System of a Down lyric that literally goes, "Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor?" And I think in this case, the song BYOB is accurate in describing Donald Trump.
Trump often explains it was his high draft number, 356, which spared him from going to Vietnam.
That was an amazing period of time in my life. I was sitting at college watching. I was going to the Wharton School of Finance, and I was watching as they did the draft numbers, and I got a very, very high number, and those numbers never got up to.
But as it turns out, the draft lottery was never a factor when Trump was in college. According to Selective Service records obtained by CNN, Trump had been out of school for 18 months before the lottery even began.
The second reason is just fuck the war. Besides the fact that you'll be serving a war that doesn't just serve Israel but also serves U.S. interests, it's primarily for oil.
If we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop.
You're not protecting our country by any stretch of the imagination. Rather, you are serving U.S. and Israeli oil companies. All you would be doing is solidifying control in the Middle East. And I already know for a fact that there's going to be some patriotic goofball in the comments section who says that I'm mentally ill or that I have a low IQ, all because I'm suggesting that instead of dying for an oil billionaire, that you should question authority instead, especially if you pretend to care about freedom. Donald Trump and Israel may be militarily more powerful than Iran, for example, but Iran is economically able to pull more political leverages with the Strait of Hormuz. And I almost forgot to mention Trump's post on Truth Social, where he literally said a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Quite literally threatening Iranian people with genocide all because Iran dare exercise even a shred of political leverage after the United States and Israel bombed Iran, even killing a school full of children. And I want to be absolutely clear when I say that the United States and Israel, they do not deserve your life. Because at the end of the day, that's what you'd be throwing your life away for. You would be throwing your life away for U.S. and Israeli interest. No, I don't believe that Israel is controlling the United States. I believe the opposite is true. That the United States is the one who uses Israel as a means to maintain control in the Middle East. Anybody who pays attention to the history of U.S. hegemony will be able to tell you that. And honestly, it's not worth throwing your life away for. The United States has never been a force for good.
Fuck them, dude. Anyone with a fucking rag on their head is fair game. Girl. She's probably like 15 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's hot, dude. Body on that girl. Oh, yeah. Really tight.
They always wear it like you can't see him, right?
I hadn't been touched yet. She was fucking prime.
Oh.
So, guys, he started pimping her out for $50 a shot. I think at the end of the day, you know, he made like $500 before she hung herself. Really?
This is precisely why, if you are a U.S. veteran, I do not respect you and I do not thank you for your quote-unquote service of serving oil billionaires. I absolutely fucking hate it when you have U.S. veterans who just spent their time overseas killing brown people and they think that they can come home and pose themselves as moderately progressive or socialist in some fashion. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there is absolutely nothing more pro-imperialist than participating in imperialism. And don't pretend that you pretty much just did exactly that during your time. It is shameful and cowardly. And I plan to make a video about this in particular in the future, but this also goes to transgender veterans as well. There is this unfounded hyper-worship of transgender veterans who served their time in the U.S. military. And of course, I want to be clear, I do support your rights as a transgender person, but I will not hold my scrutiny for your participation in U.S. imperialism. And before you try to argue that you participated in U.S. imperialism so that you can get benefits, well, the United States government took that away. Your sense of human dignity and your right to exist freely in the United States is being shattered every single fucking day. Yes, trans rights are human rights, and we deserve access to healthcare just like anybody else. We deserve to be treated with dignity, with respect. But as a transgender person myself, who has her own political and economic limitation, I cannot see myself justifying killing brown people for the cost of hormone replacement therapy. I just can't do that. Using your efforts for the cause of health care for all and not just for those who can afford it is a far more justifiable cause than serving imperialism. And maybe I am acting like I have the moral high ground. That's a fair criticism. But that's because I have the moral fucking high ground. I didn't go overseas and kill brown people so that I could get access to hormone replacement therapy. And most importantly, if I were drafted, I would still not kill brown people for access to hormone replacement therapy. My life is not more important than theirs. Do you think that, even if, hypothetically, serving in the draft is gonna somehow make things better? No, it won't. If military occupations that have lasted more than 2 decades, like the one that we had in Iraq for 2 fucking decades, if that changed anything, we wouldn't see terrorism. There would be no more terrorism.
Our war on terror begins with Al-Qaeda.
If that war on terror ever solved terrorism, why do we still see terrorism today? Not to mention, it's important to, learn about the United States' involvement in Iran, especially the history of such and what that resulted into. Many people will look at Iran and think, oh, well, these are just right-wing religious fundamentalists, and if we just overthrow their regime, that they're gonna have not a right-wing fundamentalist regime.
The terrorists practice a fringe form of Islamic extremism that has been rejected by Muslim scholars and the vast majority of Muslim clerics. a fringe movement that perverts the peaceful teaching of Islam.
In the 1950s, after they democratically elected Mohammad Mossadegh, they nationalized the oil, kicking out the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, which is currently known as BP, the same company that has routinely spilled oil in the Gulf of Mexico. And just a reminder for all of the people who just got mad at me for shitting on U.S. veterans, this is what you're fighting for, the ability for billionaires to profit off of this mess. Then the CIA and MI6 overthrew Mohammad Mossadegh and installed the Shah, who ran for over 20 years. And this has forced Iran to trade with the United States for 20 years, until the Iranian people overthrew the Shah and appointed the Ayatollahs. And you can blame the Shah and the United States and the United Kingdom for years upon years upon years of crushing dissent. Any of the Marxists, the socialists, anarchists, the communists, even the anti-imperialists who tried to destroy the Shah, but then left all reactionary opposition left to take over. You can blame the United States for that. So this idea that the United States is a force for good, especially in the context of the Middle East, it's just flat out not true. And you need to get that out of your head. Serving in this draft is not going to fix anything. It's not going to stop terrorism. It's not going to make your oil cheaper, maybe temporarily, but not forever. And more importantly, it's definitely not going to bring among peace. No, it will not. Instead, it'll just solidify more U.S. imperialism, more violence, and more schools getting bombed in the Middle East. And there is absolutely zero justification for that. And you need to recognize that.